What is going on, guys? Little Game Boy 5 here, and today we are talking about Infinite Warfare. And since it's pretty much coming to an end, and we're finally getting Call of Duty World War II that the community is really happy about, and hopefully it doesn't be bad. I don't hope for that at all. So we're just gonna be talking about the wrongs of Infinite Warfare and just see how this season wasn't really that good. Now, I will try to make about what was good about Infinite Warfare, but I don't see it happening because there's really not much to talk good about Infinite Warfare, but there are some positives, but not a lot of positives. So I'm going to be talking about what Infinite Warfare, what was wrong with it that we've had through 2016 to 2017, and how it just didn't end up as a good season. So I'm going to be going by 5 facts and going through them very briefly through this whole video. So, and keep in mind that this is an opinion, so you can take this with a pinch of salt. This is just coming from me on YouTube, so there's a ton of other people with own opinions out there. You guys can watch those and see if you agree with them. If you don't, that's fine. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but let's get into it. So the 5th option I have is that at launch, this game was so incomplete. When we had this game at launch, nothing was ready. No custom albums, no leaderboards, no rankings, and zombies. Nobody saw their gamer tags until, we got the first DLC or an update. The game was so incomplete at launch. And if we look at back at Black Ops 3 in 2015, the game was already complete. We had custom emblems, we had leaderboards, we had everything at launch. Granted, some stuff wasn't there, but we weren't expecting that stuff, like contracts and stuff, and it said coming soon. Well, that was fine, we waited for that. But this game should have had stuff at launch, and we had to wait months for custom albums, a little bit of months for leaderboards. I don't understand why Infinity Ward just didn't have this stuff ready at launch. This feels like a rushed Call of Duty game, and yeah, to me it does, because I don't see why they didn't have all that stuff ready in the game. You had pretty much 3 years making this game. It's a 3-year development cycle for Call of Duty, and you didn't have time to add all this stuff? You made a game, but you didn't add the components to it. What's the point of that? Number 4 on my list is that it didn't really do anything different from Black Ops 3. So if you play a lot of Black Ops 3 back then in 2015, or even now, people still play Black Ops 3. And if you go into Infinite Warfare, it's nothing different. I mean, you still have the specialists, you still have wall running, you still have boost jumping, you still have all the core mechanics that Black Ops 3 introduced, just incorporated into Infinite Warfare. And I just think that Infinity Ward didn't really have the idea to basically, come up with anything different. Yes, the setting is that we're going into space, and that's cool. But however, the gameplay and the mechanics are just the same as we saw in Black Ops 3, which is not good, because the payloads, or the payloads, are specialists basically, and none of the specialists robots or people have character like they did in Black Ops 3, which is just a weird thing. I mean, you have the winner circle, that's pretty much a basic ripoff of Black Ops 3, and it's nothing interesting. Infinity Ward didn't really have any of their own ideas other than changing the setting to going into space and having the whole different supply drop system. Now, I will give them credit for the supply drop system where it's easier now, where you can get keys from zombies or multiplayer, and it's pretty easy to get some supply drops in this game than it was in Black Ops 3. I will give it to that, but still, it's just the same thing as Black Ops 3. I don't see why they didn't do anything different. I mean, they could have for this 3-year development, but I guess they just chose to go the Black Ops 3 route because it was going so futuristic, so why not go to space, but just use Black Ops 3 mechanics? And I don't see why they did that. They should have just taken their own idea and just, made it better, and I don't see why. So the number 3 on our list is the basically not really getting support on this game. Now, this does touch upon my basic thing. Oh, actually, you know what? Number 3 is the pre-order bonus. Now, if we look back on 2016 when this game was announced, we saw the trailer and it got massively disliked, obviously, with over millions and millions of dislikes. Probably the 2nd or 3rd, if I'm correct, the most disliked video on YouTube. But people were still kept around for the Modern Warfare Remastered reveal at the end of the Infinite Warfare trailer. And that got people hyped than Infinite Warfare, which was bad because it was just like, oh, well, you gotta get the Deluxe or Legacy Edition to play Modern Warfare Remastered, which is just not okay because a lot of people don't want to play Infinite Warfare. And yes, now they're selling Modern Warfare Remastered separate from Infinite Warfare, but it's just kind of too late now. I feel like they should have done that from the start. That's what a lot of fans, when they were doing reactions to the Infinite Warfare trailer, they were thinking, well, if they did that, then it's just a buy-in. They just want more money, and we'll buy Infinite Warfare and we won't even play it. We'll just play a ton of Modern Warfare Remastered, which is just not good. And I just think that what they should have done with Infinity Ward and Activision, they just should have thought that path through. Yes, it was a good thing for a Deluxe Edition or Legacy Edition. It was cool to have a game that we know and love remastered to today's standards with enhanced graphics, enhanced all that stuff, which was great. But you see, you kind of kill the mood when you have to buy a game that you're probably not even going to play at all. And I just don't see that as, you know, interesting in a sense, because you're not going anywhere with that. Like, where are you going to go? So I think that's the only time we're going to get a remastered Call of Duty in this game. Because it doesn't seem like Sledgehammer's doing it with World War II, and yeah. Number 2 on this list is the not so good graphics and colorization. So if we look back on Black Ops 3, the maps were beautiful. They were beautifully crafted, colorful, and just so good to be around. Now if we look at Infinity Ward, back in Modern Warfare 3, that's when the game, Infinity Ward's games for Call of Duty started losing its color, and they started paying less attention to color after Modern Warfare 3. So Infinity Ward's never really paid attention to color as Treyarch, and I think Sledgehammer, but I don't know why. It's just the lack of graphics that this game was able to announce. I mean, I feel like Black Ops 3 looks a lot better than Infinite Warfare. And maybe, World War II, it's gonna look a lot times better than Infinite Warfare. I just don't understand. They had 3 years to develop this game. I don't know why the graphics aren't that good. It's just, now the graphics aren't terrible. They look polished and nice, but I don't understand. It's not as colorful and it's not as good as Treyarch's Black Ops 3 or Sledgehammer's upcoming World War II. It just doesn't make any sense. And Sledgehammer took 3 years to make World War II, and this game took 3 years. So what happened there, Infinity Ward? You gotta go. You can't just. And the number 1 worst thing about Infinite Warfare that we've had this year, and I'm gonna be talking about zombies. Now, as you guys know, I did play a lot of Infinite Warfare zombies on this channel, and I haven't really given my opinion of it. I think I mentioned it in like a couple of videos when I was playing Infinite Warfare zombies, but my basic opinion, it wasn't the most perfect zombies. When we first played zombies in Baseline, we were like, oh, this is the shit. This is great. This is better than Treyarch. I mean, I didn't say that. Excuse me, I didn't say that personally. But what I think they just didn't do right was just the game was so unbalanced and not good. There was so much, and I'm not talking about zombies now. I just wanted to mention that. But the number 1 thing is this game is hugely unbalanced. And then this is what I was talking about when this game was unfinished. This game is so unbalanced and not good. I mean, if we look at multiplayer, NV4 is probably the best gun to use. And everybody uses that gun. Maybe not now with all the DLC weapons that you can get, but before, and probably still now, a lot of people are using the NV4 over any other weapon of their choosing, and it just doesn't make any sense. It's like they can't balance, and there's no variety into the game. They need to focus, in Infinity Ward's next game, they need to focus on the balancing issue. We've had terrible weapon balancing in Advanced Warfare, which was the Bell and the ASM-1. Those were the only 2 good weapons to use, and basically that would get the fastest amount of kills, and that was just not okay. With the NV4, it's just like, use the NV4, you'll get a bunch of kills, which, really, it's so unbalanced. Now I'm going to go on the zombies for this other hand, is that the health for the zombies is unbalanced and not good. Making us pack a punch at like round 9 or 10 is not okay. And Treyarch zombies, I can pack a punch until like round 30 or something. Like, that's fine. Like, the health is good, is balanced. Like, obviously it gets higher when you go to higher rounds, but the difficulty just gets hard when you're only at round 10. and you don't have that much money to Pack-a-Punch yet, or even build Pack-a-Punch, because that's what's happening with the newer zombies today. They don't know how to balance some things, and the game is glitchy on ends. I mean, the good thing about this game is that it didn't have as much glitches as Black Ops 3 Zombies did, which was cool, but still, the game was certain places, like you had to stand in a certain place to make sure it was active, or if you missed it, or sliding. When you slide next to a zombie, it pushes you back, and then zombies just ravage you and melee. It's just so unbalanced, and I just don't understand how Infinity Ward overlooked that feature. And they would keep mentioning how Modern Warfare 3 was really balanced. Now, I agree, it was balanced at a point, but they started adding stuff that the community didn't want, and they got mad at it, and that's what kind of caused the thing. So, I think this is what the community did not want from Infinite Warfare. They've been shitting on it since the reveal, and they're still shitting on it today. So, I think Infinite Warfare didn't go so well for this Call of Duty here. And I think World War II will definitely revive and get back Call of Duty its main roots. And, you know, probably be the best Call of Duty game we get. I mean, right now, I think Black Ops 3 is probably the best Call of Duty game we've got through 2015 and 2016 and 2017 with Zombie Chronicles DLC, and probably being the most supported Call of Duty game with a lot of content, millions of people jumping online to play multiplayer zombies or whatever. There's just so much stuff to do in Black Ops 3, whereas in Infinite Warfare, you don't really have that much stuff other than playing multiplayer zombies. So, you really don't have that much modes and much content. So, yeah. But those were my 5 things about Infinite Warfare and what happened to this year. So, obviously, like I said before, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. You don't have to agree with me. This is just coming from me. And if you guys agree, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, like I said. And if you guys like the video, make sure to hit the like button for more videos like this. And subscribe for more content so you never miss any videos on my channel. And I'll see you guys later.